Trucking at night is a different world. The rules change when the highway is empty, when it's just you, your rig, and the endless dark. People think the loneliness gets to you, makes you see things, but that's not what happened to me. What happened on Highway 46 was real. It started like any other long haul, a straight shot from a warehouse in the Midwest to a logistics hub on the coast. The dispatcher told me to take 46, a more direct route, no tolls and supposedly faster. I'd never driven it before, but I wasn't worried. Roads are roads. The first couple of hours were uneventful. Just trees on either side, the occasional sign, and the glow of my dashboard. It was past midnight when I noticed the gas gauge dipping lower than I expected. The trip had been planned down to the last gallon, so either I miscalculated or something was off. I wasn't going to risk running out of fuel on an empty stretch. When I saw a gas station up ahead, I pulled in. It was old, only one pump, a flickering neon sign, and a cashier behind the glass who looked like he'd been there for decades. As I filled the tank, the guy came out for a smoke. "You sure you want to be on 46 this late?" he asked. "Why?" I responded, only half interested. He exhaled, watching the smoke drift. "Strange things happen out here. Cars breaking down, people going missing." I gave a half smile. "Sounds like bad luck." "Something like that," he muttered. "Just, if you see someone on the side of the road, keep driving." That last part stuck with me. Not because I believed in ghost stories, but because truckers don't ignore people in trouble. Out here, breaking down could mean freezing to death before morning. About 30 minutes later, I saw something ahead. A person standing on the shoulder, barely visible in my high beams. A woman wearing a pale dress. She wasn't waving, wasn't moving, just standing there facing the road. I slowed, but a weird feeling crawled up my spine. There was no car, no bag, no reason for her to be out here alone. As I passed, I got a clear look at her face. She was young, mid-20s maybe, but her expression was completely blank. No distress, no fear, just empty. I checked my mirror as I drove past. She didn't turn, she didn't even blink, just stood there as my taillights faded. I tried to shake it off, but 20 miles later I saw something that made my stomach drop. Another figure on the shoulder, the same woman. That was impossible. There were no exits, no side roads. I hadn't seen a single car in over an hour. I gripped the wheel tighter and kept driving. Maybe I was just overtired seeing things, but then, another 10 miles down, she was there again. This time, she was standing in the middle of the road. I slammed the brakes, my heart hammering. The truck groaned as it slowed, but I didn't stop. I swerved around her, my tires skidding slightly before regaining control. I checked my mirrors. She was gone. I had the worst feeling I'd ever had in my life. Something wasn't right, and I didn't believe in ghosts, so there had to be a reason. Then I saw it. A dim glow ahead, flashing hazards. A car was pulled over, hood up, a man waving his arms wildly. I slowed, hesitant. He ran toward me, his face pale in my headlights. "Please, my wife. She was just here. She was right here. She's gone." My blood turned to ice. "Your wife?" I asked. He pointed to the woods. "She said she needed some air." I turned for 1 second and his voice cracked. "Please, you have to help me." I hesitated, but then I noticed something strange. His car door was open, his hazard lights blinking. But his gas cap, missing. A cold realization hit me. My fuel had been lower than expected. Was someone siphoning gas out here? Was this guy really stranded? Or was this a setup? I checked my side mirror, and my blood ran cold. There was someone behind my truck. Not just someone, multiple figures. Low to the ground, moving fast. I didn't think. I hit the gas. The man outside screamed as I tore past him, my rig roaring back onto the road. In my mirror, I saw them emerge from the trees. 4 people dressed in dark clothes running toward the guy's car. I pushed the truck as fast as it would go. The weight of the load made it sluggish, but I wasn't stopping for anything. It made sense now. The woman on the road, she wasn't a ghost. She was bait. It was a trap. Get a trucker to stop, mess with his head, then strike. I didn't slow down until I reached a town, pulling into a well-lit gas station. My hands were shaking as I grabbed my phone. I called 911. The dispatcher listened carefully, then sighed. We've had reports before. Groups like this target drivers on empty stretches. They use someone to get attention, then ambush the vehicle. My stomach twisted. And the people who stopped? She was silent for a moment. Then, sometimes we find the trucks, but not the drivers. The next day I checked the news. No reports, no missing person alerts, nothing. It was like it never happened. I told my dispatcher I'd never take 46 again. I've been driving trucks for over a decade, crisscrossing the country, witnessing the vastness of America from behind the wheel. But nothing prepared me for that night on the desolate stretch of Highway 50, often dubbed the loneliest road in America. It was around 2 a.m., the road illuminated only by my headlights slicing through the inky darkness. The hum of the engine was my only companion, and the monotony was occasionally broken by the distant howl of the wind. I hadn't seen another vehicle for miles. Suddenly, in the periphery of my vision, I caught a glimpse of a figure standing by the roadside. A hitchhiker? At this hour? In this remote area? Instinctively, I slowed down, the beams of my truck revealing a man in his late 30s wearing a tattered jacket and a baseball cap pulled low. "Need a lift?" I called out, pulling over. He nodded silently, climbing into the passenger seat without a word. The cab filled with the scent of earth and sweat. "Where you headed?" I asked, trying to break the ice. "East," he replied curtly, his voice raspy. We drove in silence for a while, the tension palpable. I stole glances at him. His face was gaunt, eyes hollow, as if he'd seen things that had etched permanent scars on his soul. After what felt like an eternity, he spoke. "Ever hear about the disappearances along this highway?" I had, vaguely. Rumors among truckers about people vanishing without a trace, vehicles found abandoned. But I never gave them much thought. "Yeah, some," I replied. "Just urban legends, right?" He let out a humorless chuckle. "I wish." The hairs on the back of my neck stood up. "You know something about it?" He turned to face me, his eyes reflecting a torment I couldn't fathom. I was one of them. My grip tightened on the steering wheel. "What do you mean?" "I was taken," he whispered. "Held captive for months. They experimented on us." A cold chill ran down my spine. "Who's they?" "I don't know," he admitted, voice trembling. "But they're out there, in the shadows, preying on travelers." The rest of the ride was shrouded in silence, his revelation hanging heavily in the air. As dawn approached, he asked to be let out at a truck stop. "Be careful," he warned as he stepped out. "Not everyone is as lucky as me." I watched him disappear into the early morning fog, a sense of unease settling in my gut. I never saw him again, but his words lingered, a haunting reminder of the unseen dangers lurking along the open road.